everyone, welcome to Art with Mrs. Bodden. So today we're going to be working on our treasure map. So to start with, you need some items from your art kit. You need a piece of heavy paper. So this is that good quality drawing paper that I sent home with you in your art kit. Also in your art refill kit. If you need either one of those, please let me know and I will talk to the office and set up a time so that you can pick one up from the office. So you need a piece of that heavier duty paper. If you do not have an art kit or did not get an art kit, do not use lined notebook paper. Do not use lined notebook paper. It's okay to use the photocopy paper or the copy paper. That will be okay. You're just going to have to be real careful that you don't get it too wet. You will need your glass of water. You will need your watercolors with their brush and a couple extra things that might make your life a little easier. If you have a spray bottle, that might come in handy. If you have some of these foam paintbrushes, that will come in handy. And if you want to do some fun effects, if you've got coarse salt, this is sea salt just because that's what we were using when we were doing some seasoning on our turkey. So sea salt works good. Anything that is coarse is going to give you a better texture when we do this. Now, today I do have my 5-year-old with me, so if you hear somebody talking to me, it's Wyatt. He's in the background. He's excited. You should see him. He's got this big old grin on his face. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our paper and we're going to tear off the edges. We don't want the straight edges, so you're just going to rip along your edges. So you just can rip them off into small pieces. We want that jagged edge. If you want to have it go up and down, if you want to do more on one side than the other, you want to make sure that you're still keeping most of your paper size. And then we're just going to rip off the edges. So while I'm doing that and you are doing that, I'm going to pause the video and then we'll come back and see how they look in just a moment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you should now have this nice fun pile of scraps. Now mine might look a little bit more than what you've got, and that is because I did one with Wyatt too. So your scraps, as always, go where? The garbage can! So, put them in the garbage can. So, I'm going to show you a couple of different things that I did. This is actually my son's. So you can see that I went in just a little bit more on one edge in one spot. You can see that there's a little bit of thinner paper right here. That's great. Those are effects we want. Notice everything is not a straight edge. We don't want a straight edge. Now, on mine, I have a little bit of a tear. Totally okay. Totally okay for once to have that tear. I have some more bite-looking marks versus some long rips. You can see I've got the thinner-looking paper up at the top. I don't really like that square corner, so I'm going to kind of round it out a little bit. We want to make these look like they are old. So if you don't like square corners, or you don't think they look that old, go ahead and you can round them out, rip a couple more pieces off, and you're good to go. Okay, for this project, you really want to make sure that you have a piece of paper down or something down underneath your project so that we can get that color all the way to the outside edge and so that you don't make as big of a mess on your parents' table. Now, in your watercolor palette, and it looks like my 3-year-old was playing with my palette last time because I've got green in my yellow. We're not going to use any color but brown down here. So, reminder of your watercolor order. Black, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, brown. So way down here at the end is the one we're going to use. I'm going to take and I'm just going to stick my brush in my water for right now. Let it get some water on it. I'm going to set my watercolors to the side. And here I have my paper. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to get our paper wet. So this is where your extra supplies that I was talking about come in. So if you have a water bottle, what I recommend you do is you set it to that fan spray setting and you're just going to spray your paper. Now you can see that this got all wet. That's great. You want that. If you don't have a water bottle, I showed you that sponge brush. And then you take that sponge brush, stick it in your water, and you're just going to paint your paper. You want to get it as wet that you can start to see the paper particles through it. You don't want it to the point where it's going to fall apart, because that's not going to help us any. If you don't have either of those, you got this one. Get going. It's going to take you a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure our paper is all wet. So I'm going to quickly do that. You can spray yours wet with water. You should see his face. He's so excited to be able to spray his water on his paper. For whatever reason, my kids love the water sprayer. We usually use it just to get their hair done, get their hair wet in the morning. But man, they think that thing is fun to play with. Okay, so when your paper is pretty wet, that's a good thing. We want it really wet. I'm going to show you what we're going to do next, so I will see you in our next video.